Wonderful. How are you, Stella? Thanks so much for taking your time. It's beautiful that you're joining the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, creative community out there, it's such an honor that you are joining our latest episode, Talks on Acting. You know, guys, by now that we're jumping in all angles and corners of the world to discover the most beautiful messages, the most inspiring experiences, the most inspiring stories out there to give you, creative community out there, biggest and the most important tools. We're speaking loud and clear from the very heart of Nollywood. It's such an honor to have Stella Damasus on the show, one of the biggest African stars. And I can't believe even you're on the show. So thank you so much. Surely it's going to be a great talk for our community out there. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you very much.
I've read your story, I've read your bio, I've kind of dove into those various pockets of creativity that you expressed so far in your life. And I've been really inspired because I'm from Sicily. I'm an immigrant kid who traveled with his mother to Germany to set out for dreams, to set out for a career, to set for a new life. We made it over here. And so whenever I'm coaching people, whenever I'm approaching a new client that is complaining too much, I always kind of remind him gently that, there are people out there, right, that are trying to live up to the day. And here you are complaining about your size, about your role, about your clothes, about everything. So always remember your roots, always stay humble, remember where you're coming from. And I feel like such a star like you are, that is so big, taking your time to talk with a fair small channel like ours. It shows that you stayed humble. It shows that you still believe in your roots, isn't it?
Yes, I do. I mean, I'm an immigrant like you. I'm from Africa, Nigeria, and when you're big in your country, you feel like, oh, I have the whole world at my feet. Right. Then you come to a place where nobody knows who you are, so you're starting from the bottom up all over again. After 22 years in the industry, you're gonna have to start again, look for management agents, go for auditions, train again, because this is a totally different industry from what we know. So that humility has to be there, because we are made to go and start like we've never done it before. So the first thing they tell me is unlearn everything that you think you know.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Start to relearn and learn the things that will help you get there. So it's been a humbling process, and we're still going.
You said it in a very diplomatic, elegant way. You restarted your life, your career, your purpose many, many, many times. The tendency over here in Europe is to complain first, to point the finger against somebody else, to, everybody is guilty except yourself. And you, I feel, you were always self-empowering yourself, teaching yourself how to get through the next crisis, the next bad situation, a dark moment. So where did you pick up that strength of always rebooting, of always restarting and staying humble at the same time?
Where I come from, like where you come from, we have this thing where we are raised to make sure that we fight for what we want. I didn't grow up in a place where things were just handed to you. I grew up in a place where you had to work hard, no matter how painful it was, because nobody is going to give you anything, So when I came to this country, first of all, I had to be sure that I had my documentations right. So I say to people here, you don't know how good you have it. You are a citizen, you were born here, you're treated different from me. I'm Black, I'm African, and I don't have what you have. So first of all, you're dealing with fighting to make sure you get your documentations right. And then you're dealing with the accent, because they notice the moment you open your mouth, you have to, they know where you're coming from. So you're going to have to go through a dialect coach, and then you have to keep spending money to go for classes, to attend online classes, to go for workshops and all of that, because that's the only way you can be seen. Before anyone will listen to you, you have to be able to say, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, because nobody's going to give it to you. Someone said to me, Stella, it's going to be difficult to give you work or to represent you, because one, if we need someone to play the role of a Black person, we have African Americans who sound American. You don't.
Yeah.
If we need a foreigner, we have foreigners. If we need white, we have white. If we need Black, we have Black. So where do you fit in?
Right.
So I'm a minority. So I had to fight my way through, being seen and knowing I'm a Black person, but I'm different. I'm African, I'm Nigerian, I have my peculiar accent. I'm not going to change it because I want to sound like Taraji P. Henson. I'm not Taraji P. Henson. Right. I'm not Sofia Vergara. Right. Everyone speaks like they're, so I had to fight my way through every step, and then get noticed, get seen, and then begin to gain the trust of people here to start coaching them as well, because I did this for over 2 decades.
Yes.
You know, coming back here to relearn everything and getting to the point where I can say, hey, I can share my knowledge with you, you know. But what I did, I made sure that I didn't wait for anyone to give me the role, to give me the opportunity. I had to start creating content for myself.
I think, you know, to a certain extent, I think that our upbringing that was rather difficult was also a bliss, because we learned to fight. We learned to have that ambition, because when you're coming from very humble beginnings, whether you get that or you don't get that. My mother was very strong in injecting ambition into my system. She said, if you want to survive in Germany, you have to speak perfectly German, better than the German, because you have to impress them. You have to get their jobs. They won't give you their jobs because you look nice and you make funny jokes. You have to be better than them. And that ambition that she injected in my system, I admit, I'm a bit of also of a lazy Sicilian. So it took quite a while to get that traction into my engine. But once I realized, wow, I got this power that they don't have, because we're coming from somewhere else and we're bringing that to this new system, to this new community. So instead of seeing this as a disadvantage, what it could be initially, then it turns out to be your strongest weapon, because you're not one of them. You got your own luggage, you got your own baggage. The same thing happened to me when I returned to Italy for 8 years, and then I moved again back to Germany, where I'm right now. I've never lived and worked in Italy. I really had to relearn how people, you know, perform in Italy, how they act there, how auditions look like over there. So it kind of helped me tremendously to stay humble, to really appreciate the process. Tell me, you're so big in Nigeria. I mean, you're a superstar. So why did you move away?
Oh, so many reasons. I'm one person who believes in growth. And, you know, when you're in a place for a particular time and you've done something, you've grown to the highest level you can grow to in a place, I like challenges. So I said, what would it take for me to go somewhere else where I'm not known and break the barriers there as well, and break into the market as well? What will it take of me? You know, how long will it take? I want to test myself. I want to push myself to see if I can do something with my life in America, because sometimes we just feel complacent when we're in a place where everybody goes, oh, you're a star, oh, I love you. And you don't realize that you're a very big fish in a small pond. But when you go to a place where there's a huge river with millions of fishes, how do you get any notice? And that's where the challenge comes in. So that's one of the reasons. I also wanted to give my children an opportunity that I didn't have. You know, growing up, I wanted them to be able to explore and live in a country where, because I have 2 girls, you know, my first daughter is 21, my second daughter is going to be 18.
Congrats.
So I want them to be able to live in a place where they have freedom of speech and freedom of expression, and also express their art in a way that, you know, is global, as opposed to us struggling in Nigeria and nobody probably gets to see you until you break out to the global world. I didn't want them to go through all of that because there are a lot of challenges ahead. So I said, you know what? Let's all come to America. My husband is a filmmaker as well. He's a film director as well. And he said, you know what? Let's go see what America has in store for us and how we can challenge ourselves to get to the point where we could say, yes, we made it happen. You know, we're global now, and we're still working on it. So
I love that African spirit of yours. That spirit of not giving up, of going and searching for something else. And I totally agree what you're saying. Like when you are, when you fulfilled your mission in a place and now it feels like I'm kind of stalling here. I could use that for the rest of my life, but that's not really appealing to me, at least, right? I have the appetite for more. There is thirst of discovering more and creating and telling new stories. And setting out, it takes a lot of courage. But again, I think that's the spirit. It's the spirit also of your life. Like, I highly encourage everybody. I will, include all the links down below in the comment section below to kind of look up Stella's story, because I think it's truly inspiring and empowering to those people who believe, oh, I don't have anything, I can't do it. Because you started singing at a very young age, and then you kind of slipped into acting, right? Like, It was almost a coincidence. And then you kind of fulfilled your mission there. And then you said, you know, let's go to the States. And your husband is, your partner is Daniel Edemino.
Yeah.
And sorry for not spelling the names right, but I saw that you guys made and created a lot of movies together, that you created a lot of stories together. And that is, I mean, I'm working with my wife and my agency too, and I know how hard it is to keep everything family, to kind of have your regular life, then you have your business life, then you have to take care of your child, and then you still have dreams. So there's a lot of work that you consistently grind out. And where do you get that strength, that force? Because it's truly
we can't afford to fail. That's the driving force. We can't afford to fail. We can't afford to act like, you know, we are there. We're not there. We're still in the process of getting to where we want to go to. And then we have children who are also interested in entertainment, and we're trying to set an example, you know, for them to say, look, you can't rest. You're young. You're talented. What are you doing with your life? What are you doing with yourself? What do they say about you tomorrow? When they talk about you, what do they say? You know. So we find that we work harder than even people that do 9 to 5, because we're working out there, we come home, we're still working because we're planning, we're talking, we're arranging, you know, we're writing. So it's it seems like everything is work, but we try to make it fun, you know, so we don't lose the essence of being a family. But the truth is, we're so used to it now that because we love what we do, work is a part of our lifestyle. We enjoy it. We're passionate about it. We don't wake up feeling, oh my goodness, another day of work.
Go. Right. Because it's your purpose. It's your life. It's part of your life. It's an integrity. Like artistic behavior at a certain point becomes your habit. So it's really hard to distinguish where does life start and work end, and where, you know, it's all one beautiful body. And if you get that habit of creating that output, you will receive the reaction from the people.
Yes.
So I don't want to talk about too much because you know, people are so fixated on negativity, on bad news right now. I mean, it's all about, you know, those. But you truly went through tough times in your life, and you always stood up for yourself, for what you want to represent. And one of the things that really touched me, like, that I found really, really interesting, is like, I don't let that all come to me. I will will represent myself in this business as a singer, as a mother, as a woman, as an African, and to have that form of identity without any negative connotations, that genuine identity that I'm talking about. It's truly difficult to find that in this time of, we get so bombarded with, oh no, you have to tweet that. No, that's political incorrect. No, that's true. No, that's not true. So you have a very strong inner compass. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think as a creative mind out there in today's world, you need that. You need a very strong inner compass. You need that purpose, very driven, and constantly stay on your track.
Yeah, you know, my father taught me something before he died. He said, if you don't know yourself, if you cannot identify who you are, the world will tell you who you are.
Yeah.
And when the world tells you who you are, you have no choice but to accept it. So if you don't want to accept what the world is telling you about yourself, then you have to figure yourself out. And that's the thing that has given me the strength to remain true to myself. You know, I went through a lot growing up. Even as an adult, I became a widow when I was 26 years old with two children. And I was in the media. So there were all kinds of things. And a lot of people don't understand widowhood practices in Africa and what widows have to go through and the stigma attached to it and all of that. I went through that, and I lost a lot of jobs. I lost a lot of endorsement deals and everything. I rushed into marriage because of the expectation. So I married for the second time, and in 8 months, it was done. It was over, you know? So I went through another round of media fights and all of that, and the negative controversies and everything. And then I met this guy, and then he was in a marriage, and he broke up from his marriage. I was, single at the time, and then we get married. But because his divorce was kept a secret just to avoid bad press, the moment we got together, the story was, I I destroyed his marriage.
Oh
He
yeah,
left his
sure,
marriage.
of course, yes. It's like Yoko Ono destroying the Beatles. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It,
So I lost a lot of work, a lot of money, a lot of endorsements, a lot of everything. And for 5 years, I was like untouchable. Like nobody wanted to have anything to do with me at that point. So I decided to spend those 5 years reinventing myself.
mm-hmm,
I studied harder. I studied psychology. I studied counseling. Then I studied, marriage, relationship, and sex coaching. And
mm-hmm,
then I went back to acting school. And
mm-hmm.
then I started writing again. And I was doing things away from acting for a bit, but still paying attention to the work by studying and going to classes.
Makes
And
sense.
then at the end of the day, people saw that I didn't let those things bother me. They
Yeah.
saw that I actually embraced another type of fan base that were not looking to me just because I was an actor. They were looking at the work I was putting out outside of that. And when the industry, when the fans saw that I was still standing, I was still doing stuff and putting out my own content, they all came back and said, hey, we love the comeback kid. We love the comeback story. Let's give her a chance. And I started working again. Things turned around. But it was because I never stopped. I never stopped. I didn't let those things define me.
And
Yeah.
if you are truly a lighthouse for your family, for yourself, for your moral values, people really realize at a certain point, okay, she has won the game. So it's no sense, it makes no sense anymore attacking her and or trying to defame her or disputing what she's doing or
Mm-hmm.
not, because
Mm-hmm.
look at her. I mean, sometimes the actions tell more than the words. That's for sure. But I have that strange feeling that in our entertainment world that we're living in, sometimes we attack somebody just for the sake of it, just to kind of, so let's see how he reacts. Let's see what
Yeah.
kind of story we can get out of this. Sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
just, to see, will he withstand the tempest? If he does, all of a sudden I admire him. And that's kind of
Yeah.
weird because, this upside down effect could, come over really, really quickly to you. So
Yeah.
first of all, congratulations for standing so strong. I guess your family has been an integral part of that
Yeah.
standing strong during those 5 very tormented years. And
Oh yeah, of course. I had a support system. They were there for me. And they kept reminding me, because mentally at a point you almost lose yourself. You start to doubt everything that you've ever known. You start to ask yourself if it was all worth it. Am I really supposed to be doing this? Am I really an artist? Am I really good? Am I this? Am I that? But then you have a support system that keeps reminding you, believe in yourself, remember who you are, remember what you have done, and do not let these things define you. Don't let them change who you have been all this time or what you were called to do. This is your calling, this is your purpose, this is who you are.
beautiful.
Don't forget it. So that constant reminder is the only way to make it through. So I feel bad for those who don't have
Right.
a support system in those times, because it's very important that whilst you're waking up every day to look at yourself and go, what next? You have people saying, keep going, don't stop. Keep going, don't stop. This is who you are.
And don't get distracted. Don't get
Yeah,
distracted. It's,
yeah,
I feel like many careers, they wouldn't take off because people were constantly distracted by the blinding lights left and right of that
yeah,
takeoff piss, right?
yeah.
Of that ramp, because they were
Mm-hmm.
at a certain point they believed I will take off anyways. So let me just
Mm-hmm.
dive here a little bit. Let me just taste a little bit there. And they, of course, it's good and fun to explore once in a while, but you have to make that takeoff. You have to
Yeah.
put in that steam, so the engine really, takes you over the clouds, over the sky, where you can start really to thrive and cruise towards
Mm-hmm.
new missions and new goals in your
Mm-hmm.
life. And I think what you did in those 5 tormented years, you accumulated all that knowledge, all the fundamentals that probably you couldn't in the beginning, because everything
Yeah.
started so quickly, and because you
Yeah.
got into, into acting with such a spontaneous demeanor. So
Mm-hmm.
you realized, okay, what can I do now to kind of fill up my tank? So one day this will be over, because
Mm-hmm.
bad press, it's over one day.
Yeah.
And then I can restart. I can re-put my content into the system, and they will notice.
Mm-hmm. Truly. And they did. They did.
Is art one of those great exhaust valves to help you overcome difficulties and in
Yeah.
crisis?
Oh yeah. That for me is my strongest tool. That has helped me through a lot of things in
Mm,
life. I mean, when I look back, that is one thing that has helped me.
mhm,
I will call myself a spiritual person. I'm not very big on religion and rules and regulations. I'm not, but
mm,
I'm very spiritual.
mhm,
And I think God gave me a gift of embracing the art, you know,
mhm,
that can help me express myself and help me feel. You know, a lot of us, we just keep going. We don't stop to feel. We don't stop to understand what our minds are saying, what our body is saying, what's going on around us. You know, when there's no noise, when it's just you and you're sitting by yourself, what is in you? What is going on? You know. So the art tool has helped me to embrace myself, to understand myself even more. And I look at the world differently now. Even in this pandemic, I look at the world differently now because I don't know, I wake up every morning and I'm filled with so much to give, to write, to record, to do this. And it's all art forms and they're shaping my mind. They're keeping me sane and they're giving me hope that,
mhm.
you know, no matter how bad the situation gets, you have something to hold on to share with the world. You
Yeah, because you're discovering something new.
know?
If you are putting good work into your art, you
Yeah.
will eventually discover something new. Oh, a new line for a song, or you know, a new picture that you just drawn, or a new way of performing a monologue. And discoveries
Yeah.
are always exciting for our mental system. They boost our dopamine levels. They make us believe that there is another tomorrow. So if people ask me, oh, you know, what should I do during this pandemic? It's like create, like everybody
Yeah.
else is doing. You, yeah, how? Yeah, you got a camera, you got a cell phone,
Mm-hmm.
you got some sort of device that will record your activities eventually, right?
Right.
Yeah, put
Yep.
that on and then create, and let's see where that takes you. Don't be ashamed of
Mm-hmm.
it, right? What
Yeah.
if there's one medium that lets us understand how the universe works? I truly believe that it's art. I
Yeah.
I sense what you're saying, and I feel a pretty similar way. Even though my upbringing was, of course, my mother was very liberal and very free, and she had to take care of bills, so she wasn't really
Mm-hmm.
indoctrinating any religion into my system. But of course, you know, coming
Mm-hmm.
from Italy, you're surrounded by Roman Catholic Church and all that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
was praying and going to church, and you know, praying is good. I think praying
Yeah.
is good. It really, if you pray to something good, to a force that you
Mm-hmm.
really believe in, okay, yeah, that I'm on your side with regulations and rules and laws. That religion should be about laws, because laws
Yeah.
always divide and split up people in different systems. I'm not
Yeah.
into. I believe that there is a beautiful force, and that spirituality inside of us can connect us. But the
Mm-hmm.
translation of that force is art. And once we use art, you know, people will get attracted to our product as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the truth. I feel that because I believe in God and I pray to God, I've always felt from day one that He created art. I mean, the beauty of the world that He created is art. You
Mhm.
know, music is art. You
It
know,
is.
nature is art. Everything around me is art. That's how I see it, and that's why I'm so in love with the various art forms. That as many art forms as I can learn and get into, it just keeps me going. It gives me the drive to keep learning and expressing myself and just putting stuff out there, which is me saying I don't want to grow old and die and you know have with regrets. I want to be able to take out everything that's within me that I could have done and just put it out there. Know that yes, I have done it. You know,
Amen.
it's all
That's
yeah.
beautiful. For the female community, for the female actress community out there, it's you know, once it's sometimes, or even for actors per se, like it is easy to get a role, right? Like sometimes there are some crazy coincidences, like in your case you were just with a friend at an audition, you were not even like fully dressed or spiced up or anything, you were just, you know, being with a friend, and then all of a sudden the assistant of the casting director goes, hey, you got a nice voice, you know, let me see what you got, right? And then boom, all of a sudden you are in the movie, and what comes after that?
Mm.
How do you
So
start that business?
so I didn't realize the hard work that came with, you know, being seen and continuing you know, in the line of work, because I was a singer in a studio. I was doing jingles and radio ads and all of that. So when that film came and I earned the kind of money I would make in a whole year, I earned it in one film. I'm like, this is good. I want to do more, but more didn't come immediately. So I was like, what happened? You know, they saw me, they gave me this, and all of a sudden, nothing. And then someone said, oh, you have to understand how it works.
Yes.
You have to do auditions. You have to go to where the actors hang out. You have to learn this. You have to do that. And I'm like, whoa, okay, I didn't realize it was like this. And I asked myself, is this something I really want to do? Or do I just leave it alone? Was that a fluke? And I said, I kind of felt something when I did the first one. I felt at peace. I felt like I was at home. For a first timer, I didn't require too much on set. So I was like, this comes to me naturally. All I need to do is learn the skills and understand the language and know what I'm supposed to be doing, you know. And then I started hanging out with the actors, asking questions, learning, you know, as much as I could. Because at that time, we didn't have all the access that we have now in technology.
And all that, sure.
I was out there, like I was going for every audition. I was meeting people and everything. And again, in one of my hanging out places, someone saw me and said, I saw you in the other movie. You know, would you like to read for this movie? I'm like, that's why I'm here, you know. But the thing is, I had to be in that place for them to see me. Yes. I didn't sit in the comfort of my home waiting for a call because I got the first one. No, I had to be everywhere. And then they saw me and said, I remember you. Come inside and read. And that's how I got my second one. And then from then on, it became easier. But people just think, you know, because the first one was just by luck,
yes,
the others were just so easy. No, I went under the sun to
First of all, there is First of all, there is no luck. There is preparation meets opportunity. You were in the right place. You were singing jingles for 4 years or 3 years. You were in the right mood. You had a nice voice. You had a good and optimistic demeanor. So that came from your previous training. So it wasn't just randomly picking somebody. He kind of pointed out a few things about you that came from training, from practice, from being professional previously. So this opportunity that came from your preparation, and then they melted. Some people call that luck, but I think these people are the people that, you know, always blame the others.
Yeah.
If you are self-entitled and you have your leverage, you know, there is no such thing as luck. And your life is
not luck.
There is no luck.
Because as a kid, I remember in school, I was always interested in drama. My mother would take me, she would make costumes for me. I was always doing drama. And then because I had this very tiny light voice, so it was a problem for me. And then each time I went, they kept telling me, you have to work on your voice. You have to work on your voice. And I did. And that's why I could do what I did,
What was the toughest thing for you to learn as an actress?
It was the emotions, expressing my emotions differently. Because the real me, I don't cry. Which sounds crazy.
Are you an alien? Stella, where you come from? I thought Nigeria is from this planet.
I don't like to cry in real life. So I had to understand how to become someone else, to be able to express my emotions in another way. And then after I did it, the whole industry felt they liked it. And a lot of movies I did, I had to cry. And they called me the cry baby of the industry, which was the opposite of who I was. So people would see me and think that that's how I am, but I was never that person, you know. I would get angry, but not break down and cry. So that was difficult for me in the beginning, to be vulnerable, to give myself over to.
I see.
So
you mentioned that something that was not part of your system became your strongest suit, and I think that's something, again, something about art that is fundamentally true. I mean, we don't realize sometimes what our strongest suits are. People are so entitled, you know, to judge themselves because they think they know exactly what they're good at and what they're better. And probably they have a pretty good idea in the beginning, but you don't know. There is a universe inside of you. Just dive into that and you will explore amazing things about yourself. And what you thought could be impossible, now all of a sudden is like your habit. and this is really funny because when I saw your movies, I thought that your transparency when it comes down to emotion is so flawless that this is like one of your natural strong suits. And now you're telling me that was actually something kind of that I had to wrap my head around. So again, that is so beautiful. That is so beautiful about art.
Thank you. I mean, I thought when I was coming into the industry, I thought I was going to do comedy because I was always making people laugh in my family, my friends. And I just felt if I get into the movies, this is who I would be. But I never got to do comedy until last year. In over 24, 25 years of my career, I did my first comedy last year. It's still not released yet, but it's shocking to think that
I
it's
want
the
to see
last
that
thing.
movie. I want to see that movie. But yeah,
Yeah.
like sometimes people like to see that vulnerability, like to see what, because like what you said, people have a problem in admitting feelings in their real life.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they see someone and they follow a story and it's compelling and believable and truthful, and that emotion kind of leads them back to themselves, inspires them. That's why I think movies have they have great power. If you have They have great power, great actors, great artists telling a compelling, sometimes true story. The impact it could have on a single human being is enormous.
Yes, it does. I mean, I remember when I made a film called Widow.
Oh yeah.
That film was made a year before my husband passed. But it was a true story. So it was like I was doing a biopic and I was playing the character of a woman who still was alive.
She still lives in the UK, right? That woman that you
Yes, she does. Exactly. So I was more afraid of making sure that I would tell her story in a way that when she sees it, she will be happy, she will be proud. That is even more, it's scarier to play a role like that, knowing that the person who you're telling a story is going to see it. And you either make it good or she's like, that's not me.
That's not right.
What I didn't realize was that whole movie, the process was preparing me for what was to come. Because what I dealt with in the movie was also widowhood practices in Africa and how it could really change your life and all that, and all the pain that came with it. I performed that role so much that even when we were done, I felt sick because I don't think I had ever poured out so much emotions as much as I did for that movie. I felt so sick. I was drained. I was tired.
Yeah.
Mentally, there was just something wrong with me because I'm like, it's not possible for a human being to go through all of this and then people do this to her. I'm like, gosh, I was so sick of it. I didn't know that I was going to have the same thing happen to me. And immediately I remembered the emotions and I said, I can't put myself. I can't allow myself to feel this way when I had children to take care of, when I had a life to live. I have to be strong for my children. That movie helped me in so many ways, even much more than whoever I was telling the story for. So that saved me because I'm like, if I do this, this is what will happen. I can't afford to do what I did in the movie. I have to be different, to stand strong. I can mourn in a different way privately and deal with it. But for my children, for my family, and for my work, I have to get out there and be strong.
And again, we're coming back to what we're saying. Sometimes the art creates the environment for us. Sometimes we follow the environment that we create with our art, and the parallels sometimes are creepy, right? Sometimes we play something that happens, like in your case, of course, it's very dramatic. I've experienced that on a way softer level, but I always think how is this even possible that I'm now playing what I've experienced 6 months before? Now this is helping me because I got used to that emotion. I got used to that feeling of being in that position and dealing with that emotion. And I would be a hypocrite if I can show it on TV, but then I can't show it to my family. So I have to I have to stand up for what I play. I have to stand up for the art that I've interpreted.
I mean, it's almost like being, sometimes my daughter looks at me and says, I don't know how actors go in, become someone else and come out, and you guys don't go crazy. I just know actors, great actors, have to be mentally unbalanced because
Yeah.
you guys are not normal people.
Have you told her that you are not normal? But yeah, that's that. Don't
I
show her
think
this
she knows.
interview. I think I think we are all crazy on this planet. We are 8 billion people. We are all crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The strength comes from admitting that you're
Yeah,
crazy, facing
yeah.
it, and dealing with it. And then it's not that scary anymore. It's not that unpredictable anymore. But if we
Yeah.
all kind of pretend, no, I'm normal, I'm totally average, right? It's
There's nothing normal about us.
right. Let me just talk about the creative process. Did you talk to that woman in the UK? Did you had some sort of exchange? Because playing an historical figure that is,
Yeah, I spoke to a middleman. There was a middle person. She didn't want to come back to Nigeria. I was in Nigeria, so she was in the UK. But there was a go-between. The producer, was her friend.
Mhm,
And the producer comes back to me with information because I asked questions.
mhm,
I saw pictures, um, I heard her voice,
mhm.
and everything. And the producer had to talk me through some of her personal nuances, some of the things that she would do, and everything, the way she would sit, her personality type and everything. So I had to pay very close attention to the information I was receiving, hoping that I would do justice to the character. I didn't meet her, but I knew of her, and I was told that when the movie was ready, the premiere would be done in the UK, and she would be there.
Mhm.
You know, so I knew that she was gonna see it. So I had to be very careful with the way I took. I prepared for that role like my life depended on it.
Mhm.
Because that for me, doing a biopic can be like a make or break.
Yes. Yeah.
It's very risky. As
Yes.
an actor, it's very scary to
Yes.
play someone. It's like Will Smith doing Muhammad Ali, and if he botches that job, that story
Denzel
will
doing
remain
Malcolm
with
X.
him. Yeah, if you do a botched job, that will remain with you as part
Right.
of your
That's big.
career.
Right.
So
What kind
yeah,
of
so
what kind of questions you had for that woman?
like her personality, her temperament, if she had nuances, when she's angry, what does she do? How does she talk? I wanted to know what her go-to would be. When she receives information, how does she react? Is she calm? Is
Mhm.
she very aggressive? Is she very smart? Is she intelligent? Is she a people person? Does
Mhm.
she have close ties with family?
Mhm.
What can you tell me that would help me imagine becoming someone that I've never seen or met and just creating that life afresh, like all over again, using the script, but injecting everything that I know of her. So I paid more attention to little details
Yeah.
to
You were.
see if it will work for me. Yeah. So those little details, like the body language, like the nuances, I would ask the people that are very close to her, that knew her, that have lived with her, different questions about how she was, because I know that I was totally different from her. So I had to be able to take all of that in. And becoming someone that's different from you is not an easy thing to do, because you have to be believable. Because a lot of people kept saying, Stella, the reason we know this is not your story, because the media actually got it wrong. They thought it was my story because
You
the
thought it
movie
was your
didn't come out
story,
until,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
the movie came out after my husband had passed. So some people thought it was my story, but people who knew me kept saying, this can't be you, because this is not how you are. This is not how you would have handled this situation.
Hmm.
You're not this naive. You're very stubborn. You're not this naive. So this could never have happened to you. So becoming someone else who's naive, who's humble, who's quiet, who's all accepting, it was totally different from me. So it was tough.
It was tough letting go of all your strength, right?
Yeah,
Letting go of all these things that you kind of cherish so much in your real life, and playing a
yeah,
character that is so different from you, and accepting also things that you would never accept in your real
yeah,
life
yeah.
as taken for the situation of the movie and the story that you want to tell. It's pretty
Mhm.
tough. And like you're saying, you have to be very careful, because that person is going to watch that, is going to see that, and then whether like you say, whether you make it or you break it.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
let's say you're safe. You're a pretty much safe environment. You're living your life. You have a beautiful family. You're thriving. You are a philanthropist. You have foundations. You're helping women. You're empowering people. You have so many things on your list that are truly beautiful. If you would have the chance to step into a time machine and travel back to Nigeria when you were like 16 and starting to sing and all this, what would you tell to your younger version?
I would say push harder.
Mm-hmm.
Push harder. Because at that point, I had a lot of things going for me. I was just living my life, doing what I wanted to do, school, singing, but I don't think I pushed hard enough for where I would have wanted to be. It might sound selfish to a lot of people, but they don't understand the way my mind works.
Mm-hmm.
If you can be the best, totally, then be the best. If you have the capacity to be the best, be the best. There's no excuse. I had that, but I don't think I pushed hard enough. I think I was comfortable at a point at my teenage age where people kept saying, oh, for a young girl, you've done so much. Oh, for a young girl, you're a star. Oh, for a young girl, you've made money. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I really don't have to do too much.
Right.
Just do it. I would tell my younger self, push hard. And maybe by now, the dreams that I had, I would have started achieving them earlier than now. Yeah. Sounds hard.
No, it doesn't. And it doesn't sound selfish at all, because if you have a true ambition that comes from a real purpose and you're realizing what your strengths are, then of course you set out for big goals. Why should you sell yourself under your value? And I feel like many people that say, oh, you got everything now, feel fine and you're comfortable. Feeling accomplished is a big danger, because it puts you into a pod with a lot of other people that are afraid to step out of their comfort zone. And misery always likes company.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd rather be alone or with my small family, with my wife and my cat, setting out for big goals. And however I might appear to the people out there, I don't give too much, because I know what I can still achieve and how much I can still give to the community. And I want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, even asking you for an interview, like, people say, oh, she will never respond, man. She's huge. I'm like, well, I tried.
And here we are.
How do you stay grounded and sane? I mean, besides, of course, the family and all the beautiful foundations that you have, also because I truly believe in that spirit. I've been to Africa quite a lot, and Africa is absolutely breathtaking, and there is something so truly mystical and dark, and there is a spirit in this country. Sicily is pretty much the same. There is a spirit to Sicily, and I always embrace that. So I always keep it very close to myself. But besides all that, how do you stay alive in entertainment industry, in the showbiz?
Like I said, I keep reinventing myself. I keep showing people that I can do more than they think I can do. I can do way more than they think I can do, and I can make it work. And another thing that I realize is that when people see that you don't wait for them, you just go. They want to be a part of that going.
Yes.
When you just get up and move and say, hey, I'm not waiting for anybody. I want to do this. Like, we made a film. My husband and I made a film that I thought was a very good movie. It's called Between.
I saw it.
We tried to put it out there, and there was a lot of industry politics going on, and maybe because I'm so into the arts that I don't see how you can have content that can really change people's lives, that can make an impact, that can make other indie filmmakers say, you know what, I can do this too. I don't see how you can have that. And people want to play politics with something this good. Like, there's some things you can't put politics on, and that's art.
Yes.
And my husband and I just said, you know what? There's a pandemic, there's politics. Put it out there for the world to see. It's not about the money, it's about the art. And that's all I care about. Let's put it out there. We put it out there on YouTube, and people were like, how did you do that? How is this possible? We can see that you spent a lot on this. And I'm like, it's not about how much I'm making from this. It's the fact that people will see this and love this. Then when I want to make another one, it's so easy for me to go to an investor and say, hey, this is me. These are my numbers on YouTube. Let me tell you how many people I can get to see you, to know you, to get your money back.
I like that.
Wow.
Yes, yes.
After that, barely 2 weeks after that, I'm seeing great movies coming on the same YouTube. Like, if they can do it, I can do it. If they can do it, I can do it. And people are flooding YouTube with good movies. And I'm like, it works. That's what it's about.
If you are the first, if you are the first to dare to cross the street, the others will.
That's what keeps me going. The fact that I can do something and put it out there and change the dynamics and change the conversation, about our art, about our work, about our content, because you can't treat this like you treat every other thing. It's different. It's here, it's your heart, it's your mind, it's your soul, it's everything. So I just wake up every day knowing there's something I can do that will change the world, no matter how small. There's something I can put out there to change someone's life, That's it.
You're touching upon something truly powerful that I always tell my clients, like when they ask me, like, how did you survive? Because I'm also in entertainment industry for over 2 decades now. And it's like, I always question the status quo. I make up my own rules. The funny thing about big companies, multinational companies, is they have 78,000 employees. And 77,999 employees are sticking to the rules, and they get paid a very low paycheck. They get a very, small paycheck at the end of the month. You know who's getting the biggest check? Who's not sticking to the rules, who's breaking the rules all the time, but coming up with great stuff. By questioning the status quo, by doing something in a different way, and by always creating something. And art is there to be created, not only to be venerated. It's venerated, it's death, it's in the museum. So if you want to survive in the entertainment industry, then create entertainment. Be your own little industry and create art and try to tinker how you can change that medium. Don't be, don't idealize it too much, but because that's dangerous. It's like a Greek statue. It looks beautiful. It's very strong. It's so mighty, but then it's death. It's not living anymore.
True. Very true.
You're full of inspiring stories. We could touch upon that for hours, but I think what people can get out of this the most is like you when you believe in yourself and you have your stories to tell and you are in a safe and let's say predominantly healthy environment, and you're searching out for the best peers out there, and you're putting your energy out there, people will notice you, because it's true, misery likes always company, but also, peak performances, the iconic things that you put out, they like to assemble as well in a group. And people who make great products, they will call you up and say, you're making great products throughout the year. I want to work with you. I want to know who you are. I want to get in touch with you. I saw In Between, and I liked it. It was funny. You were doing your thing in that movie. How did you come up with the story? What was the process?
So, when we moved to America, we made that film in 2015. It was 5 years ago.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we wanted to register our own production company. And when we registered that, then we were in Atlanta, Georgia. We did the registration, and my husband said, look, now we have it registered, we have to do something. Let's make our first feature in America, because we had done some short films before then. So I said, let's make our own feature film right here, right now. Let's use our funds, use whatever we have, and just do something simple, but very, very impactful. And then my niece, who works with me, the three of us, we sat down, and she came up with, because the first thing that I learned in this country is when you want to make a film, ask the question, what if? What if this happens? Or what if that? What if that? That makes for a good story. So she says, what if you have a marriage counselor whose own life is a mess? That was the only line. And my husband said, I know what to do. And he just started writing. So he wrote the script, and we talked about the characters, we talked about everything. And based on our budget and what we had, we went out there and we made what we could. 2 days before filming, before principal photography, our cinematographer pulled out. He just pulled out, and he pulled out with his own crew.
What happened?
Pulled out with his camera. So he wanted us to work with a lady who was supposed to be the production manager, but we had worked with her before on a music video set, and we saw the way she treated actors. Because with my husband and I, one thing that we do not like is for actors to be on set and people talk down on them when they're coming to work. You put them out of their mental state. You know, they're prepping and everything, and you come and you make them feel uncomfortable. So I felt she was a bit too aggressive for actors, and I'm like, I really didn't want to work with her. But he gave that as a criteria because they have a deal, they have a contract. So he says, if you don't work with her, I can work with you. And he didn't say anything till a few days to shoot, thinking that when it's close to time and he pulls out, we will have no choice but to say,
but to accept the whole deal.
My husband, who is a crazy person, who has gone to Full Sail, NYFA, Digital Film Academy. He studied cinematography. He studied filmmaking. He says to me, do you trust me? I said, yes, I do. He said, we're going to go on location and we're going to make this movie ourselves. I'll shoot. I'll direct. I said, okay, let's do this. And we went ahead and we created it. That was it.
I like the spirit. I totally, I like the spirit. It's like I say, like, you stay humble during the practice, and of course there is a boundary to dignity, to where, you know, there are fields that you deem yourself as untouchable, you know, till here, no further. And to a certain extent, I think that being proud of what you are and humbleness, they are not excluding each other. I see a lot of clients struggling with that concept. But I need to be humble. But then, but being proud of yourself, of what you have, of your product, of your creativity, that means, you know, to know what you got. Be completely conscious about your strengths and your weaknesses. And then you put it on a context where you want to work friendly with everybody without touching upon, you know, negative sides and all that. And now it melts. And now having the consciousness of your own strength and also the humbleness of accepting the challenge, whatever the day might bring. Because, you know, let's face it, filmmaking, even on a high level, on an end level, is improv. In, day out, we have to improv.
Yes, every time.
And that's
every time on the spot.
And that's beautiful, because you stay awake, you stay alert. If people want to stay in their comfort zone, they have to choose another business. It's not their business. You know, this business is about crisis, about conflict, about opportunity.
Crisis management half the time. You're like trying to deal with it. You know, it's a crazy process, but you have to be, like you rightly said, you have to be crazy to be in an industry like this that's unpredictable. You can plan and get there, and nothing goes according to plan. Your ability to manage what's happening there and still stay true to the art is what makes you a true talent. That's true.
So you hired any other director of photography? You just went.
No, he shot the whole film himself, directed the whole film. We did the casting ourselves. We did the location, art director. We were doing everything. I went to Hobby Lobby. I went to buy things that we would put around the houses that we were filming in, the clubs.
I would love to work with you guys. That sounds like
I would love you to come so we can work together, because I like to work with people who think out of the box. Like, it's all about the art. Whatever we can do to make it work, we'll make it. You know, we'll make it work.
People don't even know that there's such a huge industry in Nigeria. People don't even know that there is Nollywood, right? It's not only Bollywood and Hollywood. There is Nollywood. It's an industry. It's huge. Like, you guys have mega stars. When did it blossom up? When did it happen?
Well, it became more professional in the 90s. You know, we had a film industry in the past, but then there was a dark era where people weren't going to the cinemas anymore. So everybody started buying, you know, videotapes of, you know, Indian films, Chinese films, you know, Bruce Lee and all of that. And then some people just thought, you know what, we can actually create our own thing and put it on the same tapes, you know. So there were a group of people who came from television, and they decided to make a movie together and bring their friends and people they thought had talent, and they started making the movie. So the thing is, Nollywood is such a huge industry that the world can't ignore it anymore. the beauty of it is it's a self-made industry. It's not like in India where you have the government supporting the arts. Yeah. It's not like America where you have film funds, where every state governor has a film fund office that they can support films, or they give you tax incentives and all of that. It's nothing like that. It's private funds, private money, personal, everything. And we built it from then to now to a point where it is the largest employment industry in Nigeria. It has employed millions of people and has fed millions of families. And the good thing is now we're beginning to go to Berlin Film Festival, the Toronto International Film Festival. Our movies are on Netflix now. You know, our stars are coming into America to do things with people. And it is really growing. I mean, we don't have everything that America has or like Bollywood has because of the support system, because of the big studios. We don't have that. So everybody's a studio on their own. So we work with what we have, the budget that we have, to the best of our ability and to the capacity that we can. Even our distribution is still struggling to have its own structure. So it's a gradual process, but we're growing and getting better with what's available in the world right now. So yeah.
And I think that goes hand in hand with the development of the country, because art in the end is always the characterization of the human condition. If the human condition can afford art, it means it's developed, it's getting bigger. There's some spiritual and artistic progress. So that always goes in hand with the country. And Nigeria, being one of the dark horses for so many years of Africa's, Africa's heart, now it's really stepping up. I think like now they kind of uncloak themselves. Now they're saying, okay, you know what? We're accepting the challenge. Let's see where we can get.
Yes. It's we're also trying to change the narrative, because for too long, Nigeria was synonymous with fraud, with so many different things, and it was really bad. And I think this is us trying to rebrand and say, hey, we're more than that. We're more than the oil. We're more than the fraud. We're more than all of that. We have the ability to create, all of this, the different atmospheres and stuff like that. So we're gradually doing that. Now people hear names like mine and they're like, oh, Nollywood actress, here Genevieve, here Motola, here RMD, they're like, oh, okay, Nollywood actors, who are these people? So now they're paying attention gradually. We're grateful for that.
And also Black movies are, more and more of them, which of course not always is the quality with all the other genres and all the other products out there. If you make a lot of them, of course, the quality sometimes will lag. But I think Black movies have become stronger and stronger and better. Is there any Black movies you like that you feel inspired and attracted to? You say, oh yeah, this is good. This is something that kind of speaks.
Nollywood movies or American movies?
Both basically.
I mean, I just saw, the last one I saw yesterday was actually a Nigerian movie. It's called Living in Bondage. And it was a remake of an old film. One of the first professional films that I was talking about has a remake of it, and it's on Netflix. And I just saw it and I thought, wow, this is like a huge leap from where we have been. This is like a huge improvement from what we have done. And I thought it was great. And I was telling everyone, have you seen it? Have you seen this? Have you seen that? There's so many. I also like Hollywood. I don't know if you've seen the series on Netflix. It's called Hollywood.
We're watching it every night.
That was crazy. I mean, it opened my eyes to a lot. I'm like, whoa, this is. And the actors were like something else.
Fantastic.
I'm like, whoa.
It's very rare that all the actors on a show are just superb. All of them. Like,
I was like, where did they get these people from? Like, what's going on?
It's crazy.
I had never seen the Black guy before then. So that was my first time. And I'm like, who's this guy? Where has he been? And apparently he's been around. We just didn't notice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so many things that I've seen lately that I've said, okay, this is something that has made a difference, to me. I could sit and watch this over and over again because I'm one person, when I see something once, I don't go back to see it. My husband can see it 50 times, but I just don't. But when I go back and see it again, like I saw Hollywood again, I'm like, okay, this is crazy.
It's super strong. It's wonderfully produced, and everybody is on top. Like every actor is. Yeah, it's a great show. I love those retro shows also. I love to go dive back into history and see history with the eyes of today, like and having that.
Yeah.
I love that. I just love that because we should never forget our roots. We should never forget where we come. Of course, not sticking to them, and gluing to them and attaching to them so much that you can't change. Evolving, changing, progressing, that's all beautiful, but always keep that spirit alive inside of yourself. Why are you doing this? Why you are in this business? Why you're sacrificing all of your private hours for an audition? Why you want to stand for
that? Right. It's all worth it.
It's truly all worth it when the audience, even if one gets what you were talking about and gives you that response.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
Stella, I think we told a very inspiring and a very empowering story today, and I will make sure to include all of your links that are a lot, all the most important ones in the comment section below to the people that want to follow you. Monafrique TV. Can you touch upon that really quickly? How did that kind of happen?
It was just a YouTube channel that my husband and I set up. It was we're trying to get it to be a platform that you could have that's like in Netflix, but it's for content made by people who are like indigenous. I called it My Africa, but it's actually meant for people who feel that they're not in the Hollywood space, who have content to share but don't have a particular place to share it. So we're saying to independent filmmakers, you have a place. This is without politics, without anyone telling you what to do, how to do it. It's your content. You want to put it out there. You have an extra platform to actually put it out there for people to see. So we're using our own content to test the waters to see how people engage, with the platform and see what kind of content they like. And then my husband is working on something that would allow us to put it on a bigger platform where when you put it on Monafrique TV, people who really don't know you, they can see it, amongst, it's just like having all those things on Amazon where you have HBO, you have the other ones. Monafrique TV is going to be like one of those things on a very big platform. Yeah, it's just to give people an opportunity to express themselves and put their content out there without struggling, looking for where to put it. That's what it is.
Are you hitting any major festivals? I mean, right now it's really hard to do any prognosis or outlooks, but what is coming up? What are your next missions?
Last year, we were actually one of the content that we put on there last year, one of our short films. We didn't even put it in for the festival, but they just saw it on our platform and called us. And we were actually in Berlin, for the festival. Cool. And it's called That Film Festival. And after that, they made their selections, and we're one of the top 3 to be invited back, when they did the finals in the UK, and we came second. We didn't make it to win any awards. We just wanted to create content and then put it out there to test, to see if people would like that kind of content. And then all of a sudden we're being invited to festivals. And then it was really huge for us. It was big for us because now the festival itself are talking to us about creating more content like that for people to see, for their audience to see. And then Between has done festival rounds as well. And then it went to different screenings in the UK, in Los Angeles, and one other place. I think it made it here, and it won several awards as well, here in America. And gradually we're beginning to see the direction that people are going and what they want to see, the kind of content that we can make, and everything. And it's been growing because when we started the YouTube channel, we didn't really make a lot of noise about it. It was just there. But with the content that we're putting there gradually, it's changing the whole thing. People are beginning to notice. People have started sending us emails, how can I partner with you? I want to put my content here and stuff like that. So it's growing. I mean, I don't like to. I like a process in everything we do. It's not, oh, we have millions of
No,
subscribers.
I,
My question is, what are we giving to the amount of people that are coming in? So we're working on creating different types of content now. Then we put it out there. Then we go out to the world and say, hey, we're offering you this. Come and join us.
sure. How is the
Yeah.
Nigerian community in Dallas?
Oh, there's a huge community in Dallas, and then because Houston is like, we call Houston the capital of Lagos. Houston is like Nigeria, and Dallas is right next to Houston, so there's so many people here. There's a huge community of Nigerians here, and they love content from our own people, and that's for sure. They make it easier for you to actually put out your content, all of that. But what we are trying to do now is make it mainstream, so it's not just we don't want to make content that looks like, oh, it's a Nigerian story inside of America. No, we are telling a good story, but the story is told by Nigerians.
Like
we're trying to make sure that, yes, so it's acceptable. Like someone like you will see it and say, oh, good content, not just, oh, it's a Nigerian film.
minority content in the
minority. Nah, you don't want to do that. So
do you miss Africa? How many times do you travel back? Because I miss Sicily a lot. I don't get the chance to travel back many times as much as I would love to. It's still, I kind of drain force out of my homeland, and everywhere I go, I kind of bring something from my culture to that place, and maybe that's my mission. I don't know, but I also try to think about like moving back completely, but that wouldn't work because I need, the structure. I need the order to put all my stories and to have the kind of, that chaotic system down there. It doesn't serve me because I'm chaotic. If the system is chaotic as well,
I miss Nigeria a lot. My mother is there. I still have siblings there. And there's just this thing about being home, it's familiar.
Sure.
The food, the people, the culture, and all of that. But I wouldn't trace my being here. I wouldn't trade it. I would rather be here, do what I can do, and then go back home and help as much as I can and come back. Because when I was in there, there was so much I could do to help to change the system, to empower people, to help the kids, to help with the education. There was so much I could do. But being here, being exposed to a lot, learning a lot, and being able to have, I mean, let's be honest. If you make $10 can feed a family back home for like almost 3-4 days. So whatever I'm making here, I'm able to make a bigger difference back home. Like you said, there are just some things that I'm used to now that I can't imagine my life without constant electricity, without constant, gas and all of that. I just can't function that way anymore. It has to be stable for me to function the way I have to function. But because we have people from Nigeria here as well, sometimes I forget I'm actually in America when I'm with them. So we're just, so it's kind of cool. I feel a sense of balance. I actually went to Nigeria in January and came back just before the whole pandemic started. So I go back as often as I can.
Yeah, you fill up the tank and then you get back into the world and work as an ambassador of your country instead of being also too much inside of the problems and, politics, like you're saying, and too much, caught up in the currents and whatnot, and you have to fulfill. Do you feel like women are getting more and more empowered in Nigeria? Do you feel like that they can speak their voice a little bit louder? Also through the entertainment industry that is growing so rapidly and so strongly in your country.
Gradually, they're being able to speak. And I think one of the things that has helped us is social media as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because now, if the authorities are not listening to us, the world is listening and the world is talking about it. So gradually they're beginning to understand their rights. So one of the things that I've been trying to discuss with a lot of people in the education sector is to be able to add a curriculum in the schools, especially for girls when it comes to human rights and women's rights.
Right.
Because if they don't know their rights, if they don't know what they're entitled to, then they don't even know what they're fighting for. They don't know to fight for. Because some decades ago, it was okay for a man to hit his wife, and everybody says, "Oh, that's fine. He's your husband. He paid your bride price, so he has a right to hit you to get your head straight." But now people see, no, that's wrong. The fact that we're married doesn't give you the right to hit me. I'm a human being. I will report you. If I go through domestic violence, I can go somewhere and make a report. So they have to know that it's their right. And then we have to also keep sensitizing the authorities as well, that they have to be equipped to handle cases like that. But gradually, they're beginning to see it. Gradually, technology is opening their eyes to see how women in other parts of the world are being treated, how they speak up and all of that. So they're learning. Yeah.
A blessing. It has been a blessing talking to you. I think we could go on for hours, but you need your time, I need my time, and I think we delivered some great value to our audience, to the actors and actresses out there. Feel inspired through Stella's story, to stand up for yourself, to believe in your product, and to go through all the problems, push through them, and accepting your role inside of this beautiful entertainment industry, without forgetting that in the end you have to create your own product, and you have to believe in that product more than anybody else out there, because nobody will do you a favor and pick you up at some street corner and make you famous right away. You just have to deliver something amazing, and Stella delivered and keeps delivering amazing content to the community out there on so many various platforms, empowering and inspiring people. So thank you so much for taking your time, Stella. It's been a pleasure and an honor.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, creative community, for stopping by once again. This was another Talks on Acting episode with the incredible superstar Stella Damasus, such an inspiring, uplifting, empowering person. Make sure to follow her content, to watch her movies, because they're great, and to get acquainted with Nigerian entertainment, because it's great entertainment. It's lovely stuff coming out of that country. It's getting bigger and more important. And maybe one day you will shoot in Nigeria, getting hired by a Nigerian entertainment studio. So you never know. The entertainment industry is changing and constantly shifting, and I think we are part of something very, very beautiful. So subscribe to our channel. Make sure to share this content to your community so we get stronger and better all together with precious content like this. If you have any other question, please let us know through our website. It's thecoachmc.studio. See you next time with another episode. Thank you so much, guys. Now you're ready to perform.